So, hello and welcome to this episode of All Access. We are now at the very end of the season. The last matches are rolling in as we are actually currently speaking. Uh, I really wish we had more or less had covered it yesterday. There was quite a few of the key matches, at least in the Prem, that was being played. And I am lucky enough to have LittleWing here with me to discuss our lovely predictions later. How are you doing?
How you doing, Archangel? How are we doing, chat?
I'm doing good. The weather here is starting to turn into fall weather, which I think is a little bit early, but I was going to say after this heat wave, it's almost nice to have that.
It's the same here, and it's refreshing.
Yeah, give me 2 days or 3 days, and I'll start complaining about it again, of course, because
Absolutely.
that's what we Danes love to do. It's a national sport over here to complain. This is why I also feel somewhat kindred to the English people, because it seems to me you sort of have the same sport.
Oh, absolutely. But we have a shared heritage, don't we?
Yeah, that seems to be let's call it a quite freaking wizards return back and forth. I think is a fair way of putting it. Let's call it that. I seem to remember someone came over and basically sank our whole navy in one go because they got tired of us complaining and raiding on stuff like that. So, but yeah. I need to update the text. So can you chat with people for a second, and I'll just clear the technical details here. We get both the match and the it's lovely. So you had Prem, right? And
Yeah.
I think Phil just got slightly bashed out of getting second place yesterday. Very close. Snow Troll still has a chance to quite improve. No, he can't. No, all of them above them are actually
No, no,
done.
no.
He only has a chance to go down, actually, at this point. Wow.
Yeah, I picked the wrong lizard team now.
Yeah. The other Lizard teams did really well. He got a little bit of a punch in the nose in the last match yesterday versus the Blackhawks. They were being mean Blackhawks yet again. Not that I think that it really surprises anyone. But yeah. So and May has
So yeah,
had not the best season. No.
no, no. Um, yeah, so I'm pretty happy with those actually, to be honest. Prem East was an absolute open division.
Oh yeah.
So, but actually to see TAP get through to the semis and to see a Blackhawk team, RTSD, to get through,
Yeah.
it's good for the league.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it was sort of interesting because Tapestry lost his last match. Yeah, he lost his match, right? I think he did. I think he lost.
Yes, he
Yeah,
did. Yeah.
yeah. Which actually opened up the both Phil and Arctic could have taken the second spot. They both chose to be really kind, both of them, and not do that. So even though he sort of stumbled on the finish line, he still made it through, which is nice to see. He has been running a really strong season. If we go in here and have a look, yeah, I do way too much more statistics. So
Well, I really like it. I've really enjoyed your weekly updates. Actually,
yeah,
I'm sure people have thanked you for it, but on behalf of everyone else, thanks
yeah.
very much for that.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. So, but yeah, so you can see Tapestry's line here, right? Like it's been a strong showing throughout the season. Here at the end,
Yeah.
it's not been so consistent, but other than that, it's been pretty well. But yeah, and if you go to the west, you will also see that the other Lisbon team on the other side has had a really strong season, right? Though they have, I think it's almost like poetic justice, like a bit of a head start, and then it meets at the end. So I think
Yeah. Well,
it's
maybe that's just other teams catching up.
Yeah.
with skills. But I'm not surprised Tector's. I played a little bit with Tector in a now defunct league, Iron Phoenix. He's a good player, so
Oh,
um,
definitely. So
yeah.
I think it's also there's also a question of when do you face off against the other teams. Like I prefer to meet a Black Orc team at the start of the season more than the end of the season,
Oh yeah.
or similar with other teams, right? So it's also a question of what time do you run into what teams. But that goes for everyone, and I think some teams, like not teams as much, some races benefit more for the team value there is here at the end of the season than they do at the start of the season. Where the other team which starts like at a good spot and then over the season they actually sort of get into a more bad spot because as the other improve, they're sort of stagnating. And as much as I love my orcs, that's sort of a common problem for the orcs is that they do well until we get to these high team values and then they start to struggle.
Yeah. Oh, I feel that with dwarfs. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's exactly the same.
yeah. Yeah, they're also a mid range team where like they prefer the mid range team values. That's where they're comparatively the strongest versus the other teams, right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
So then you've got the semis. You're up against. It's an orc off, although not a straight orc off, and then we've got two lizard teams going at it as well.
Yeah, there was also if the Tectra and RTS D had a different result, there would have been a different. If he had won with one more goal, Tectra would actually have been number two instead of number one in RTS or taking him. And if it had been a draw, Delphi would probably have taken the second spot. And I think I'm gonna be honest and look. I say I'm gonna look very much forward to the Lissaman mirror match. But there is always a little bit of a in mirror matches that is the game becomes very much about other things than what it usually does because it's a mirror match. Whether you can
Yeah,
usually play to your race strength or not, uh, and I think in a way that I think it would almost like from purely viewership point of view, not from anything, but it would have been more interesting to have the lizard men teams facing off against the two other teams and have more interesting matches. I think at least from a viewership, I could be
that's true. Yeah,
um,
but at least we're guaranteed a final with two different races in, I guess. So that's
true. So
the other
so
way of looking at it.
yeah, that is definitely true. Um, and I think I will put it this way. I'm glad that I don't have to risk my life on guessing who's going to win the lizard men match. I think that's going to be really an interesting
It
game.
should it should be a great game. Like I said, I played Tector a lot, but a few years ago in Blood Bowl 2 in Iron Phoenix. I played Tapestry. Apart from this season, every season we were in the
Yeah,
same divisions. Two good players.
yeah.
Yeah, dice. Unfortunately, are going to be a factor, aren't they? That's the if they're not always, but
I think I think the orc off is going to be basically who gets first some removals. That's basically going to be it. So that's going to
yeah,
be really dice heavy because if the black orcs come out swinging, the orcs is never going to recover. Just as orc player, you need to bash your way to victory to some extent, and if you are starting to beat players down, that's not going to happen. And the vice versa, if the black orcs loses a few key players within the last like just the first four turns, it's also going to be a really uphill battle for them. I think looking at the two team actual like how they are actually skilled, I think the black orcs are more likely to get into that scenario where they're gonna get some early removals more than the orcs are.
yeah.
On the listman side, I think it's gonna be. I think it's interesting that Tapestry has more developed skinks, or let's be specific here, a very developed skink, and some soft skinks, and then some decent sources, whereas Tractor has more developed Sauruses, but his skinks are not as powerful as tapestries, and I think the removals again are of course going to matter, but I actually think that differences in build is going to be important to who's going to win, because if tapestry can capitalize on the skink, like the power skink, I think that will be a benefit. If he can't, I think the power of the Sauruses will win. Tektra is mentioning his powerful mighty blow block skink. Um, it's gonna be really interesting to see how that performs. I think I love the fact that he got the skills. Like it's so lucky randomly on one hand. On the other hand, it's still strength too. If I could pick any two skills, I would probably have gone for Dauntless and Wrestle as like wishful two pick skills of any time, right? But normally blocking
Well,
mighty
it could.
blows is nice, right?
Yeah, it could be significant in a matchup, in a mirror match. You don't know. I can't believe I saw you talking about that, Tector. I can't believe you actually rolled Mighty Blow. That's 1 in 12, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I think it's 1 in 11 because she can't get big strong arms, right?
Strong arm.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
yeah. But though it would be funny to have a skate with strong arms. But yeah, I think Snow Troll, you're a bit right. I think in if not taking the players into consideration, like just good players playing Lizardmen versus good players playing Lizardmen, and we gave one team slightly better Sauruses and the other team better Skinks. I think in most cases the Saurus would win slightly, but there that's also why I'm really looking forward to that game, because I think that's gonna be very tactical and very strategical, and it's gonna be deciding. I'm hoping that more than I'm uh, that it's going to be the dice, right? It can always be the dice. I'm fearing very much the orc match, black versus normal orcs. It's just going to be a question of removals.
It's really good to see Black Orcs in a semi-final, though. I didn't think. I think was it Evie a couple of seasons ago predicted that
Yeah,
they'd get there.
Evie
So
had a long sticking to his guns that the Black Orcs would make it, and the season that he's not making predictions is of course the season that they make it. And I think from the showing of the match of Tractor versus our TSD, I think there's a good chance that he actually might run off with the title at the end of the season, because I think he showed that his team can definitely take on Lizardmen and get away with it. And so if I was to make a bet at this junction, and Nuffle be, of course, barred from intervening, I would put my money on him. I think if Phil had an or something other elf kind team had made it through Skaven or something, I think the Black Orcs might have had a harder path to the title. But let's see, and let's see what Nuffle decides, right?
absolutely, yeah.
So if we go back to the predictions and go a tier down, and if we talking about like the premiership being contested and really up for grabs, I've Altdorf, both East and West have been like blood sports. I think BB Nut is the only one who sort of seemed to cut through the chaff, but
Yeah, I mean, BB Nut needs a special mention actually in Altdorf East. He's run away with it, and that loss was against Blue Lights, who I think retired after 5 or 6 games, so he could have easily had a 30-point perfect season there. Yeah.
Sad to see Blue Lights go. He's a really good player, and
he is a very good player. Yeah.
But yeah, definitely running away with it up here. Really had a good season. I'll just update the data here just to make sure that it's the newest stage that we have. LittleWing made it back. looks like he's gonna make it back into Prem after a season in Aldorf West. So, and
Yep, the
Dragonsbane,
boomerang team continues.
yeah, and Dragonbane is probably. I'm just trying to do the math here in my head. Just I think it's more or less guaranteed that it
He's
will
up,
be.
yeah.
Because 16. Yeah. So there might be more moving up because of twisting and running away and stuff like that. On the other hand, we also have teams returning, so I think we might actually only have the 3 moving up on each of the 2 divisions. I think the spots and prems are going to be highly contested with the teams also returning. Yeah, and it's sort of the same. Like talking about contested divisions, like West have had like a 4-man horse race down here. That is, we like at this point. Would you like to care to tell me who's going to win and who's going to be second and third in this division? Because it's still up for grabs, and we're still like that. I think it's impressive of like how condensed that is there.
I've got a feeling I checked this yesterday. I think Waldorf and La 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 Prout are playing in match day 11.
They are.
Yeah. So it's going to be Matt. Oh no, it could be Waldorf. Yeah, I don't know. No idea.
Nope. So basically, Waldorf and La 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 Prout gets to decide where they're going to end up, and Matt, I think. I don't remember who's playing against. Let's see, Aldorf West. He is playing against. Wow. Should we expect versus Goblins that wouldn't be a winner? I think that's a little bit a safe bet. Not guaranteed. Goblins being Goblins, but I think it's a safer bet, right? I think he will get the 3 points, right? So he will grab the lead, and then Lala Prow can either contest the first spot and with a lower more goal score. So it's probably going to be Matt who's going to steal first spot, and then we're going to have basically Lala Proud and Waldorf deciding between themselves who's going to be second, third, and not make it.
I think Waldorf's finished 4th or 5th for the last 2 seasons in Waldorf West.
I love the fact that he plays all World Alliance. I really love that there is a player in all divisions that actually does it. On the other hand, I would love to see Waldorf play a team that was actually competitive, because I think, in all fairness, it is most of all that it's all World Alliance that is keeping him out of Prem than anything else. Like if he had a competitive, I think he would be in Prem. But,
yeah.
But yeah, and purely for egoistic reasons of what I bet and guessed on here, I need them, I think, to draw, because that way I get my positions more correct in guessing.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think it's. I'm actually a little bit surprised that I didn't pick Mark. Like Dark Elves is.
Did you do these or did Phil? I thought Phil did Altdorf.
No, it was Phil. That's
yeah.
Phil. That's right. That is Phil. Yeah. So that's probably why, because otherwise I would say, like, why is Mark not there? But yeah. And East, yeah, it's gonna be a powder cake. Then we go down to Baron. That's where I had my prediction. Yes. So Baron West, I apparently did not do so well with. I got Lord Gibby right, but other than that, it's not a. I am a halfling in 3rd place. Who would have put that at the start of the season?
No way, but that is a great effort, isn't it?
It is. I must say, like, I again, just purely like for the thrills of it, I would love to see halflings in Aldorf. That would be amazing. That the same goes for the Goblin team. I think though that ship has a little bit sailed for the next season, but I would love to see that too. Just because it's just like the old World Alliance, right? It's just not that typical. So that's really amazing. But yeah. Follow kill. Going from bad to worse, like the predictions is just going downhill here. Guys, you really need to save me here on the last day. Just pointing that out, right? Um, yeah, not really surprised that it's an necromantic team making it the top, right? Like that's I just bet on the wrong horse apparently. And there are surprisingly many Chaos Chosen teams coming up. Like we had many seasons where there was like no Chaos Chosen teams, and now it seems like the floodgates have sort of burst and they're just pouring in. But yeah.
Yeah, there's some claw about now, isn't there? There's a Nurgle in the Prem now as well, so...
Yeah, there's going to be a Nurgle in both Prems, from the looks of it. As far as I remember, right? We will most likely have Matt coming in from west and BB not on east, so that should definitely spice things up a bit.
Yeah, it's good to see. I'm really happy about the sort of the expansion of races that's happening. It makes the season a lot more interesting.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Like there's been talk about like limiting uptake of certain races and stuff like that. Also, again, like because we had at least from the start, there was fewer races, but there was a higher concentration. It seems to be going in the right direction. And I would say we're down to where it's more that there seems to be just some races that are not people wanting to play more than anything else. Like Underworld, we don't have a single Underworld coach in all our teams. We don't have a single, which is pretty impressive considering how many players that we actually have, right?
Yeah.
And there's a few other races that are like really low in numbers. But there's also races that are surprisingly high. I like the fact that we have a fair few compared to what I usually see of flings, right, or goblins, that sort of thing. But yeah. Also, you can also see that Scave in the Amazons are coming in slowly but steadily. Though they did not do so well in the hills this season, generally.
They'll need a few seasons, won't they?
Yeah.
To build up.
Yeah. And I think just as we talked with the Blackhawks making it finally now that they weren't being backed by EV, right? I keep betting and doubling down on what Keenan and haven't really been rewarded for it yet, I would like to point out. And it also means that like if I have next season, like say, okay, I will give it a skip, right? That just means that he will do well. So that leaves me in a bit of awkward space on what to do with that one.
He's probably praying you don't back him, to be honest with you. It's all he needs.
I have a interesting idea for how we should do prediction next season. I will take the chance here to vet it. I think we should not do it by divisions. Oh no, not by tiers, but we should randomly assign so that we get a little bit more mix and match, and then tiers next season. I think that would make it a little bit more interesting. I just heard the sound from the game that something died. I think. Yep, that's correct. Oh, that's not nice. What is that? That is a human thrower. It's a bit of a weird human thrower, but yeah, that's not nice.
That's got to be random skills, hasn't it?
It has to be.
Yeah.
But you also like I think it's also sort of telling that he still has his apothecary left, and he's chosen not to use it on this player. I think he also realizes, it is. Let's call it. It's a very unique skill set this player has.
Yeah.
So you say he can pass, and he's frenzy and dauntless, and okay. Yeah. That's yeah. It's also I think there's also at this stage in the season, right, there's a lot of people like Bush sort of hints at, right, that takes into consideration like what is Redef going to look for their team and what's really important when it comes down to it.
Yeah, as Zenjo and Tector are talking in chat about Underworld not being popular, I just think maybe with a Bash League, you probably edge towards Necro because of the walls. If you're going to pick that.
I think it's sort of a classic balancing thing where Underworld with swarming back in the, let's call it old days, good old days. I wouldn't go that far. They were sort of overpowered, and with the reduction of that, I think a lot of people are like, yeah, well, they're just not good enough anymore. Well, they're still good, but they're not as competitive as they used to be. And I think that's sort of what also happened to Chaos Chosen in the first couple of seasons. It was people were still like thinking and comparing them to the old kill teams of Blood Bowl 2, where they were just a menace, right? And
yeah,
and I think it's not that Underworld isn't actually able to hold up its own, but they're just not as good as they used to be. And yeah, exactly. It in that reduction in power level seems to at least give a time where players have to sort of readjust their perception of the team, and in that period you will have that teams are Chaos lost a lot from Blood Bowl 2 to 3, but I still think they're competitive. I
they were OP though, weren't they?
Well, they were really overpowered.
Yeah,
And I think looking at all the four teams making it to the playoff, I think none of them would like to face up against the Chaos team. A fully developed Chaos team, right?
And there's some coming through. There's been a few games in Altdorf this season where I felt like I've been sending out 11 tin cans to get shredded.
Yeah. Yeah. But we'll see. I think it will take a couple of seasons to really see the effect of the redraft and the reduction in fees that we have chosen to do compared to the latter. I think Chaos will still be competitive. I think they will still struggle, but I think most like 1,500. What? No, sorry, not 1,500. 1.5 million, and I think most teams can struggle to some extent. But I think when you look at it, there's no perfect number to sort of pick. If there was, everyone would just use that, right? And it gets really subjective when you start going into the nitty-gritty details of like how do you want to solve the balancing act.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I will say is I know this is not everyone agrees with this, but I'm really happy that the season fee came down from 20 to 10.
Yeah.
I think that gives Lizards and Nurgle and Chaos, a little bit more of a run.
Oh, definitely. I think without the reduction in fee, I think Chaos, Lizardmen, and similar would be non-functional. Simply, either that or we need to have longer seasons so that the seasons, the redraft doesn't happen that often, and then the team value cap of 1.5 should go up. And I guess that's also why the rulebook has the 1.9 as a suggestion as max cap, right? But it also means like 1.9 is that is some serious teams coming out at the back end of that, right? Like at that end, I think Chaos would rule supreme along with Lizardman maybe. But yeah, but it's trying to find that sweet spot where everyone is good and bad is really hard.
It's almost impossible, isn't it? But I think you just got to pick a number and then adjust it. And I think the commissioners have always shown if something isn't working, they're happy to tweak it. So we'll get there as a league. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I think, as the structure says, the rulebook suggests 1.3 as the suggested cap. And I think that's ridiculous low, to be fair. Like I don't see a team not struggling to keep that. But then again, it's also depending, like, do you want to keep a perpetual league where it's long term, you have old experienced teams and players? If you are keeping it down at 1,300, you are basically saying, oh, it's all fresh teams. you're not going to have more than fresh teams. Exactly. So if you want to go down to 1300 and play 10 match seasons, there's nothing technically wrong in that. It's just it's going to be a different taste and feel of how it's going to function. But it's going to be really low tiered, and I think there was an idea of that we still wanted to be able to see on a rare occasion level 7 players, but those legends should be not a thing everything all team had at all times. And I think that is sort of the sweet spot where we have landed.
Yeah.
I did
it's
some
a balancing between sorry, go on.
I was going to say we did some calculations behind the scene of like what would teams look like and what would that affect, and would that like over like season 1, don't get me wrong, but that doesn't matter. It's season 2, 3 where it starts to really, and then from season 4 plus it really starts to do your head in if you have, let's say, 1.3 million or you have 20k per season. That's when it really starts to matter, because the accumulated effect of all the fees is going to be huge.
Yeah. Well, you're basically balancing a NAF style TT, aren't you, against, I guess I've always enjoyed the sort of squad building side of Blood Bowl, that you can build up your players and exactly. make them interesting over 5 or 6. So you've got to balance that. I think 1500 with a 10k redraft is sort of sits in the middle of that. I'm very happy with it anyway.
Yeah. I think Tincture's point is fair, in the sense that it is, if sort of like putting it really sharply, not saying it's perfect analogy for it, but sort of saying like you can go full NAF style where everything is replaceable. You don't level up things. It is basically fresh teams, new teams all the time, right? And you can go up to, let's not even do redraft. Let's not have a team value. Let's just pile on skill indefinitely, right? And there's nothing wrong in doing either way, but it's sort of a spectrum, and where do you want to place it? And there's no question whether we are choosing 10Ks or 20K, or we choosing 1.3, 1.5, or 1.9. It's going to make a huge difference on where you're going to land on that spectrum. And I think, at least from a commissioner's point of view, and which I'm sort of happy about, is that we want to be more perpetual league than we want to be NAFTA. And to support that, I think the 10k and 1.5 is a good spot. But yeah. And then we have all the forest divisions. There's been a few of those that Phil predicted who has dropped out, so they've sort of been replaced with Axis. So that's the way to, the maths could sort of support that. But yeah, his predictions are just even at low tiers. So you talked about the overview, which is the sad bit, right? So if we go back to showing the Excel spreadsheet here, I'm going to take the one where we can still... No, we can't see the match, because if we do that, I can't show the corner up here. So you and I, we need to hire that assassin, right?
Well, I've done my job, Archangel. I've come in, and you're not last this season, so...
True. I will have to give you a courteous bow for that. I'm no longer the worst predictor in the league. That is true. But yeah, I think for many of the previous rounds, I actually had one in top 3, but I don't have that anymore. So, but yeah,
that's unreal. I think you shared one 2 weeks ago where we each had a division in the top 3 and the bottom 3.
Yeah, and that was the week where I suggested I think we should just stop counting from here. Because I had a sneaking suspicion that it was not going to get better than that.
No.
So.
No, I have to say, Ame, Mathimus, and Snow Troll have cost me big this season.
Oh, they have. But I think also I must say I'm a little bit surprised by where both have ended.
Me too. Yeah. Yeah, me too.
But yeah. Oh my god. But yeah. So
there's still a few games outstanding. So are you able to catch Phil, or is Phil going to be crowned prediction champion again?
I think I think for better and worse, I think Phil's are pretty much stuck at full value most of his predictions. So they could drop a little bit, I think. And I think mine, I have a few that could go up, but can also go down. So I think statistically, I think I might improve a little bit comparatively, but I don't think I will be enough to. But then again, if you actually look at the numbers, right, they're not that different in fairness, right? Like Aldorf is clearly the division that has wrecked
Yeah,
everything.
that's remarkable actually,
Yeah,
Altdorf.
yeah. But if you look
Because
at
you've had blue lights that pulled out completely, so
yeah,
he's still spot on with that.
yeah. But it's because he's getting both first and second, and down here he's getting second, third, and fourth. Right? That's.
Yeah,
I think actually at one point in Aldorf West he had basically the even the order correct, so not just he had everything spot on for a brief moment in time. He might still end up being there.
he might still end up doing it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good effort, Phil.
yeah.
Yeah.
I am hoping and trying to see if I can make a version of this that I can sort of make available for anyone who wants to, and so that you next season can make your own predictions, everyone, and you can sort of compete with us and see if you can do better than us. So,
Well, that shouldn't be too difficult on my behalf.
well, I actually say, especially considering it's your first time, you're actually not that far off. So I think we've done it 3 times now, and you're not that far from me. So considering it's your first time, I think that's pretty damn good.
Okay. Well,
Uh,
that makes me feel slightly better.
Plus, I also think, like in all fairness, the vacuum that the last season to this season sort of left in Prim, I think also really made it much harder to predict what was going to happen.
Yeah, for East. I think West
Definitely.
was pretty. Yeah.
Yeah. I think if just purely going from the statistical data that sort of was there, at least from West, I think the top spot was sort of given a little bit, but the rest of the ranking was definitely also open. But yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it's been good. I mean, just looking at the Prem West, Lockistar with that strength 4 thrower, that worked in the end, I guess.
I would put it this way: it worked a lot better than I had predicted.
Yeah.
I must admit that at least from like a better word, my playing style, I think I would worry that it's too heavy on the TV. It's not that it's not a good piece; it's just really, really heavy on the TV, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But it worked out. Credit to Lockistar.
Yeah. So yeah, I think yeah, but just it is. Let's just show you guys just for the because it's not just that it has extra strength, right? It has extra strength, it has extra agility, and have a dodge also.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 80k mark. Yeah, 80k for strength.
Yeah, just for the
Oh, he's
strength.
added agility to it this season as well.
Yes, it is a very very expensive piece. and clearly you can get it to work. So I'm not saying like it's a bad decision. I'm just saying like it's a 245 orc,
and it's only level 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was my double movement dodge runner, dwarf runner, was ended up at 245, but he's still got 2 more skills to play,
Oh yeah.
and going for another stat.
I think this is, I guess, from my side, but I'm thinking he's working up to getting more
Movement.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what I would do, at least if it was my thrower.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing we also talked about. Like, so he has retired, this guy, which I think sort of makes sense. Give it a try, see if it can work out for next season, right? But that still leaves 1.7, right? And with that play on top of that, there's gonna be some deep cuts here. And
Yeah.
and I think actually that's some of the really interesting. Like if you look at there's many of these teams. He did not have a pleasant last match, but there's gonna have to be some deep cuts here and there, right? Phil also had a unpleasant last match.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he also had his 2 other blitzes massacred a few matches back. He had I think at one point he had 3 guard pieces and a mighty blow piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they definitely take a penny.
Wow.
I think
so. I just because I've never got anywhere near the playoffs. But do the MNGs get cleared for the semi-final? Or
so
does Tap take those in?
The threat for the playoffs have come up, and in those I specified just so for those that weren't aware of that. So the usual way that we do it is that from playoff, from the league to the playoff, there's a rest day, meaning every MNG gets cleared. But there is no rest day between semifinals and final.
Okay.
And that's also, I think, at least from my point of view, why I'm fairly sure I'm not going to get the title this season, because should I get lucky enough and enough of this goes with golden dice for my orcs, I'm still going to take so much attrition that I'm going to have not much of a team left for the final. At least that's my prediction.
Yeah, that's a murder team, isn't it? The Black Orc. Well, it's the only way they get to win, really, isn't it?
Oh yeah. And well, in classic Black, like it's orcs doubling down on being the orc aspect, which is basically we'll either bash it or we'll foul it, and when it stops moving, we might consider scoring, right?
Yeah.
That's basically Black Orcs in a nutshell, right? But that's also a team that will have to do some deep cutting for next season.
Wow, look at that. That is a nasty.
I would rather put it this way: if you were given 1.7 million and I told you to build a Black Orc team as you desired, I will have a hard time imagining you building something that is worse than this.
Yeah. That's nasty.
That is a nasty team. And that's also why, like, I think if there was any bookies for this and betting going on, I would put it on this.
Yeah, because it's built to counter bash, isn't it?
Oh
and
yes,
it's 4 bash teams. Yeah.
So for also just for the sort of rock paper scissors, I had hoped that either the Wood Elves or the Dark Elves in West had made it, so that we had a little bit more of a rock paper scissors in the final. But it's gonna be mainly a bash off, and in a bash off format. Yeah, they are slow, but I think with the show that they had, I think you played him yesterday, right? I think dice can always be different, right? But I think at the end of the day, I think they're gonna bash their way slowly and steadily through them, and especially also because with the threat of third season, right? Attrition is going to matter.
Yeah.
I was almost going to say, Texture, I hope you're right. I hope you're right. You'll definitely get a second chance probably to show that is correct, either this playoff or next season. I'm doubt. I haven't checked, but I'm doubting either you are twisting or running away, right? So, and the
I think
funny
a big shout out to Phil and Durfell as well, because to get Elves close in both leagues is a good effort, actually.
Definitely. That's also why I'm a little bit sad to see that Delphi is running away. But yeah.
Oh, is Phil twisting? Is he?
No, Phil is, as far as I'm considering.
Oh, Durfell. Sorry.
Yeah, is running away. So. Yeah. But yeah. But it's there is, and this is the thing that again, if you go back to like the whole composition of races and the divisions, I would have liked to see that there were more ball playing teams in the top tier. But either it's the format or it's the level of players picking the different races that seems to be a lot of elf teams coming up to Prem and basically being mauled and then dropping out. There's few teams of elf teams that have actually been able to stick around for multiple seasons. Core Knight.
No, Core Knight did well. Yeah.
Phil's
can't think of any others. Phil's done well.
Yeah. Ringtail onto this season has actually done pretty well with Skaven, which is, I know it's not fully elf, but it's darn close. And so has Helnick, but
Ringtail went into this season really beaten up though.
I think if we look at like team build career path, right, I think there should have been more of a rotation of players earlier, and they got into this and this happens, funny enough, quite often for Skaven. Death Spiral, right? Like where you get into a team that's built high enough, but it just keeps getting bashed because you have taken so much attrition over the time to build it to get to there that you sort of lose your forward momentum and you start to more or less just get more damage than you are progressing new players. And it's almost like you have to... Warning, there's going to be a gardening analogy here. You gotta kill all the dead branches and then really cut the tree into the core, right? And sort of hope that the new branches will eventually grow out and do it.
I mean, I think the redraft will help with that naturally. Sorry.
I hope so. Yeah. I really hope so. Like, for me, like in a perfect world, that would be like a Orc team, a Chaos team, a Dark Elf team, a Skaven team, like one of each in more or less the two divisions. Like we would have 20 different races and the two prems come together, right? That would be awesome. Yeah. The only way to get that, I also know, is basically enforcing limits on races, and I am really against that, and luckily so are the commissioners, because I don't get a vote in any of this stuff. But yeah, morbid initiation. Yeah, that's his tapestries, right? Like decent Sauruses, one powerful skink.
Yeah.
And if we go back and look at the Protectors, right? The skinks are a little bit more spread out, and the Sauruses are more or less the same, I would say. Ish, right? No, there's not mighty blow here. But there's a... Did the Tapestry have a tackle? I can't remember. He probably has one. But they are a little bit more banged up, these ones. But yes, we should not forget the almighty block, and yeah, they were both random.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I've lent majorly into the randoming life this season with not great success, so I'm very jealous of those two roles.
Oh yes, I don't care to think about how many players I've sacked for getting the wrong randoms on
I
my
know.
team.
Yeah,
But
I know. I
let's
know.
be fair. There has been quite a bit of sacking going on for players who did not get the right randoms. I actually even have one this season that I'm sort of like. I got off to a bad start this season. Panthers basically mauled my team in the first match, and I lost my thrower and a few other players, key players. So I started off on a bit of pretty bad footing. So I ended up having to sort of like this guard armbar, because that's really the skill everyone loves, right? Is
Yeah,
has stuck around somehow. But yeah,
yeah. I've got a guard brawler guy because I just cannot roll guard on random. So yeah, he stays.
but most of mine is random. But yeah, but that's also, I think, one of the things that redraft will help with in a bit is that it will reduce the usefulness of randoms a bit. I think that is not a bad thing.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Now, at the start, when I thought about it, I thought, well, if you can get the right randoms, you're cutting out a season of redraft, basically. 10 for 20. But you've really got to stick the right ones, haven't you? That's the point.
Yeah.
Um, and
So
then the turnover is just too painful over a season to keep doing it.
I
So I
think
think you're right. Yeah.
I think it's also like just looking at the races down here on this list, right? So for a team like Orcs or Dwarves or similar, you generate enough money that you can keep firing players more or less every match just for the fact that they didn't get the right random. You will have enough go for that. If you're playing Skaven or you're playing Elven Union, you're
Yeah.
gonna need every goal just to keep your team alive, right? And I think in that sense, it makes it really hard for those to do the sort of same thing, because the attrition and injuries that you just get on a fragile team is just that higher.
Yeah.
And
Bushranger makes a good point as well. It's the second random that is the yeah.
yeah, but I think if you look at my team, a lot of them have two randoms. Some of them only have one. But it's the if you compare to a team that has, I'm just guessing here, so let's see if I'm right. But many of these are not random. They are picks, every single one. So not just even just the first one, but everything is picked. So it becomes the accumulated effect of not just one picked, but two picked, right? That is double up expensive, right? And
Yeah.
that's also why, like, well, actually, the funny thing is, if you take this off the roster, right? This roster is exactly the same cost as mine. This roster here and that roster up here is the same. As a
Yeah.
lot more skills here. It's a lot more skills. And there's even, I think, more players too.
Yeah.
But that's also why, like I said, when you get into that territory of team building and maintaining it, it gets really about harvesting those small perks and making them add up and getting something that makes it different at the end of the day. And when you're playing more durable teams, you will have an easier time doing that in than fragile teams. Like try building a Nurgle team with gutters who have two randoms, right? They will be dead before that even happens, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Multi-block can't be a pick. Well, it's rare that it is. Usually, it would be mostly on an assassin. I still don't think 40k for multi-block on an assassin is ever gonna justify itself. But then again, I love playing Dark Elf. It's probably my favorite race, and I at the end of each season, I still go. I should probably probably twist and start that Dark Elf team I want to play instead of Orcs that I'm so tired of playing since like I think second season something. But the problem was when the UKBBL started up after the break because of the horrible launch of the game, let's call it that. We did some seasons and I played Dark Elf for all those seasons, and I was sort of tired of playing Dark Elf, so I wanted to play something new and switched to Orcs. And I sort of bitterly regretted that every season still. And then I look at my team and just like, all that work, is it now? Yeah, it should be now. I should cut my losses, not make it worse, not double down on this investment. It's over. No more Orcs. And then, but it's so much worse work out the window. I'm gonna do one more season.
Well, listen, if I'm doing the predictions next season, you've got to stay because I'm in East, so I'll get Prem West. Oh, BB Nuts joined us.
Yeah.
Grats, BB Nut on the.
Yeah, that's quite a
well played, mate.
That is quite the impressive run you made there, I must say. I think I could be wrong, but if you can get 3 points in your last match, I think you will be setting a record for a Altdorf League. I think that would be the highest score in a season in Altdorf. At least that I'm aware of. At least I'm talking about 3. I've been in UKBBL for a long time, but not that long that I know all the scores from BB2. Yeah, you have kept a pretty clean net, to say the least here. Yeah, I think Little Prague got a perfect run last season. If I could be wrong, but I think I got 30 points in Prem last season. I think. Not sure.
That rings a bell.
Yeah. And I also think I had sort of like the same. I actually think I had fewer goals, but about the same suffered touchdowns that you had.
I think you conceded 4 last season because I remember. Yeah, I think you conceded 4 touchdowns last season. Because I was going to run a side comp in Alton Forest East with fewest conceded touchdowns, but I thought it was pretty boring in the end, so I decided not to.
Trying to see here websites for the win here. Prem 55. Yeah, no, I actually got 31 point.
Yeah.
I conceded 4 touchdowns, but only scored 20. Yeah, that was a pretty good season.
Who are you going to re-roll to, Ben? It's taken a lot of work to get the Nurgle up there. Just one season.
Woodies. Oh, that would be amazing.
Ooh.
I Woodies and Skaven are the sort of same category for me. I love and hate them at the same time. Like it's one of those like races that just when they are on a roll, there's no stopping them. And if the wheel comes off the wagon just a tiny bit, it will fall apart with splendor. Yeah, that is a well built, tight Nurgle there.
Yeah, very efficient. I really struggled against them this season when we played.
I think I am a conservative player, so that has to be considered. So I don't like really randomness, and that means I hate playing against Nurgle because you will have some games versus Nurgle where the foul appearance has absolutely no effect and it doesn't matter. And you will have matches where just 3 key disturbing persons, and it's basically destroyed the game for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the same with the tentacles. I think it's a game design error that it's the Nurgle player who rolls it. I think it's weird that it's the only roll that you're doing opposingly that cannot be countered. So if I'm dodging, I can reroll. If I'm passing, I can reroll. If I'm picking up, I can reroll. I cannot reroll a tackle roll, and it ends my turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I think is a bit unfair. But that's only also, I think, in the new edition. I think in the past they didn't look like that. Like even like hypnotic gaze and stuff like that is also, if it fails, I can reroll. But really, yeah. That's why I hate tentacles, because it's just one time you roll that 6 and it's like, yeah, okay, I didn't need to blitz that ball carrier anyway, right?
Yeah. It's good to see Nurgle though. Yeah,
Yeah.
in both West and East, we think.
Oh yeah, there's I will put it this way. I think it's more or less statistically impossible not to have a Nurgle team coming up in both sides. Matt has to do something really spectacular, and so does Lyle Proud and Waldorf. They almost need to arrange the score. Something I was going to say. Other than that, I think Matt is also going to squeeze in and claim a top 3 ticket. Yeah, the cap for redrafts is 1,500, and it's only a 10k fee per season, not 20. So it should actually allow the Nurgle to. Yeah, it's 10k per season for each player. Yeah. So at least the idea with those numbers is that Nurgle, Chaos, Lizardmen, and so on should be feasible to have and run and be competitive. I'm not saying it's going to be as easy as certain other races, but they should at least be possible and not be with 1.3 million and 20k per season. Nurgle is not going to go anywhere.
No, nor Lizards, nor Chaos. You're gonna
yeah
remove all of those teams.
Yeah. Yes, I don't know if we should call it a night at this point. I think we have covered it pretty well. I don't know if anyone has any questions or things they would like answer on our predictions.
Oh dear, the new season can't come around quickly enough. I need to rectify that.
So for those who are sort of new, the turnaround is usually 2 weeks, meaning that on Wednesday, when this round is officially done and over, there will be 2 weeks hiatus to run the playoffs, and then already the Wednesday 14 days after, there is a new season starting. So that's a fairly quick turnaround.
So that would take it through to the 26th, right?
If you're looking at calendar, I'll trust your reading ability of that, because I'm not looking at the calendar, and you could have told me it was the 1st of the 20th day, and I would probably have nodded. So yeah.
So Mark, you do the redraft at the start of
the new
next season.
Yeah. So when your team, that's also we covered redraft earlier, but just for those who didn't see that, it is so important to remember that once the season is over, don't do anything with your team. Just let it sit. And once the season is over, you take your team out of the division. Don't do any sacking. Don't do any leveling up. Don't do anything that you don't need to. And then when your team re-enters the next season, you will be forced to redraft. You will probably have to roll for expensive mistakes, and you will have to level up players that have forced upgrades needed. So those, let's call it normal blocking of making you able to play a match, you will have to do, as far as I know, before you can do the redraft. So expensive mistakes and stuff like that. But also, as covered in the video, there is more or less no way you're not going to get the 1.5 million. For details, go and watch that video. Yes, for those who have very keen eyes and are just as much OCD as me, they will probably notice that the slides for the matches have slightly changed for the next round of playoffs. And all the slides that we are using will be upgraded for next season. I have enough OCD that I had to tweak a few things that I keep bugging my eye, and I think no one else ever cares about. But so we have 2 finals coming up. Those who are unaware of that, and the first one will be played next Thursday, and it will be a Lizardorf, and I am going to be commentating that on who will be co-hosting with me. It's not been decided yet. It might be you, LittleWing. I might force you to it, may not. Well, we'll see. But I think it's definitely going to be a very interesting match. And then there's a probably, at least for my prediction, a lot more boring match. Who's just going to be seeing whose armor breaks first, and then let's say I think the Black Orcs just have a little more chances of doing so than the regular orcs have. But that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Well, we shall see.
We shall see. You never know. Nuffle might be kind and go like, you rolled enough double ones for the season, or just it might just like I think my first match versus Fantas this season was basically, so turn 1, player was lost strength. Turn 2 was player losing agility and another player knocked out, and turn 3 was a dead star thrower that I had. So that was a really good start to the season.
That's painful.
Yeah,
but like a phoenix, you've risen from the ashes.
Yeah, it sort of has. But yeah, I do tend to, and I think it goes back to the thing that we sort of talked about. I think orcs do well at a medium TV, and here at the end of the season, where we all have high TVs, the orcs just don't do that well. I think that's why they, at least when I play them, sort of suffer a little bit when I get to the playoffs. So, but yeah, it just proves that I really need to twist my team for next season. I just have to abandon.
You've got to stay.
I just have to abandon all that work I put in so far. That's this.
It's one more season. One more season. Well, we need it for the predictions. We can't predict anything in Prem West if you're not about.
No, and I love the fact that oh, hello, Miss Spiltree. Thank you for the raid. We're just finishing up here, but thank you for the raid. I think Mathimus and I had a conversation after last season where I decided, like, I'm going to give up my orcs, and he said something which I mistakenly took as an encouragement to keep my orcs, and I was like, afterwards, Mathimus, thank you for keep getting me to stick with my orcs, and he was like, I didn't tell you to keep your orcs. Oh, damn it. So yeah. So I had to apologize to her and then say, well, sorry, I misunderstood. So yeah. But yeah, next Thursday we have a very exciting semi-final of 2 Lizardmen's players. It's going to be top-notch, I guarantee it. Tector versus Tapestry. And then the other semi-final we still need to find a date for. But yeah, should also be a good match. True. Yeah, that was the phrasing. I said that you said they didn't need redemption. They made it undefeated all the way to the final, and then they lost the final, and I was pissed off enough at that. And he said, "Yeah,
these pixels, they get you. They get you."
Yeah,
I'm attached to my dwarf pixels at the moment as well, so
yeah,
it's just the way it is.
but we also, like I said, like some of those orcs I've had for, so because of the FA Cup the friendly matches, so they don't count. So I probably played something like 85 matches with that team, right? You sort of get attached to it towards the end.
You do.
Yeah,
for sure.
Cool. I will gonna say we're gonna love you and leave you, and we're gonna rate you on to someone else, and hopefully you all have a great evening. But we're gonna sign out for today, and then hopefully see you soon again, because there's definitely much more interesting matches coming up soon. At least that's bye for me.
Yep. Good night, Archangel. Good night, guys. Thanks for sticking around for the show.
See you, and love you and leave you. Bye bye.